Detective Nathan Reed, final day on the force. 30 years served. He's clearing his desk when something catches his eye. An old tape, 1998. 7-year-old Lily Matthews calls 999. Her father dismisses it says it's just a game. Nathan responds, leaves. 3 days later, Lily is gone. Vanished, presumed runaway. For 25 years, Nathan carried that guilt. Now on his last shift, he enhances the audio, turns up the volume and freezes, heart pounding. Through the static, barely audible, a terrified child whispers, Lily is in the basement. But there was no Lily in that house. And according to the blueprints, there was no basement. Until now, when everything changes. The cardboard box sits on the edge of Nathan Reed's desk like an accusation. Inside, 3 decades of memories, commendations he never hung, witness statements that still haunt him, photographs of crime scenes he can never unsee. But it's the small plastic evidence bag at the bottom that stops him cold. Evidence tag 98-4471, Mitchell residence, audio recording. He'd requested the original tape years ago, kept it in his personal files when the case went cold. Beat Town. Nobody questioned it, nobody cared. The Matthews case had been filed away under presumed runaway so quickly that most of the department had forgotten about it within a year. But Nathan never forgot. He was there that afternoon in November 1998, standing in the doorway of a suburban home while a 7-year-old girl watched him with eyes too old for her face. He'd made a judgment call, trusted the father's explanation, left that little girl behind. 72 hours later, she was gone. And in 25 years, nobody had seen her again. The precinct is nearly empty now. It's past 6 on a Friday evening, and most of his colleagues have already left for the retirement party they're throwing him at Murphy's Bar downtown. Nathan told him he needed to finish some paperwork, tie up loose ends. But the truth is, he can't walk away without knowing. He pulls the tape from the evidence bag. The label is faded but still legible. 999 call, November 14th, 1998, 1437. He hasn't listened to this recording in over a decade. Back then, the technology wasn't sophisticated enough to filter out the background noise, to isolate individual voices. But now, with the digital enhancement software the department finally invested in, maybe he can hear what he missed. Nathan connects the old cassette player to his computer, launches the audio restoration program, and presses play. Static crackles through his headphones. Then a voice, the 999 operator, calm and professional. Emergency services. What's your emergency? Silence. Breathing. A child's breathing. Hello? Is anyone there? More silence. Then distantly, an adult male voice. Lily? Lily, what are you doing? The sound of movement, a phone being grabbed. I'm terribly sorry, operator. My daughters have been playing with my mobile. She saw an officer visit her school today and, you know how children are. She wanted to try it out. The operator's response, that's quite all right, sir. Happens more often than you'd think. Can I take your name and address for our records? Of course. Ryan Mitchell, 47 Ashford Lane. Nathan remembers that voice. Ryan Mitchell, polite, apologetic, completely believable. The recording continues. We'll send an officer around just to make sure everything's okay. Standard procedure. Oh, that's really not necessary. It's no trouble, Mr. Mitchell. Someone will be there shortly. The call ends. Nathan stops the playback. This is the part he remembers. 26 minutes after that call, he and his partner, Connor Davidson, arrived at 47 Ashford Lane. But something's been bothering Nathan for 25 years. Something about that call felt wrong even then. He couldn't put his finger on it at the time, dismissed it as paranoia. But now, with decades of experience and nothing left to lose, he's ready to trust his instincts. Nathan opens the audio enhancement software, isolates the first 30 seconds of the recording, and applies a high-pass filter to remove the low-frequency static. Then he increases the gain on the mid-range frequencies where a child's voice would register. He plays it again. Emergency services. What's your emergency? And there, beneath the operator's voice, so faint he almost misses it, a whisper. Nathan's hands are shaking now. He rewinds, increases the volume further. applies a noise gate to suppress everything except the quietest sounds. He presses play once more, and this time he hears it clearly. A little girl's voice, trembling with fear, speaking so quietly she's barely audible. "Please, Lily is in the basement." Nathan stops breathing. He plays it again and again, the same whisper, unmistakable now that he knows to listen for it. "Please, Lily is in the basement." But that doesn't make sense. The child who made the call was Lily Matthews. Why would she refer to herself in the third person? Unless Nathan's mind races through the possibilities, each one more disturbing than the last. He fast-forwards through the recording, past Ryan Mitchell's explanation, past the operator's standard questions, and then, just before the call disconnects, there's another sound, footsteps on stairs, a door closing, and one more whisper, even quieter than before. "Help her." Nathan sits back in his chair, his heart pounding so hard he can feel it in his throat. For 25 years, he thought he knew what happened that day. A child playing with a phone, a father's innocent explanation, a runaway daughter 3 days later. But he was wrong. Lily Matthews wasn't playing. She was calling for help, and she wasn't calling for herself. But nothing could prepare Nathan for what he was about to discover in the archive files. Before heading to Ashford Lane, Nathan knows he needs more information. If there was another child in that house, there would be evidence. Missing person reports, unsolved cases from the same time frame. He logs into the national database, enters search parameters, female, age 5 to 10, missing between 1990 and 1998, within a 50-mile radius of Ashford Lane. The results load slowly, 12 cases. Nathan's stomach tightens as he clicks through them one by one. Most have been solved, runaways found, custody disputes resolved. But 3 remain open, 3 little girls who vanished without a trace. The first, Claire Watkins, age 7, disappeared July 1991 while playing in her front garden. Last seen wearing a blue dress, no witnesses, no leads. The case went cold within months. The second, Megan Phillips, age 6, vanished from a shopping center in 1994. Her mother had turned away for less than a minute. Security footage showed a man in a baseball cap leading Megan toward the exit, but the image quality was too poor to identify him. The third, Paige Lawson, age 8, disappeared from her school playground in 1996. One moment she was on the swings, the next she was gone. Teachers assumed she'd gone inside. By the time they realized she was missing, it was too late. Nathan prints the files, spreads them across his desk. 3 girls, 3 unsolved cases, all within the same geographical area as the Matthews house. He examines the details, looking for connections, and then he sees it. Claire Watkins lived on Maple Drive, less than 2 miles from Ashford Lane. Megan Phillips' family shopped at Morrison's on High Street, the same store where Samantha Matthews worked as a cashier in 1994. And Paige Lawson attended St. Catherine's Primary School, the same school Lily Matthews would attend 2 years later. The connection is there, subtle but undeniable. Ryan Mitchell had access to all 3 areas. Nathan pulls Ryan's employment records, archived in the old case files. In 1991, Ryan worked as a self-employed handyman. His client list included dozens of homes in the Ashford Lane area, including Nathan's blood runs, called the Watkins family residence. He'd been hired to repair their garden fence 3 weeks before Claire disappeared. In 1994, Ryan briefly worked security at Morrison's, and in 1996, he volunteered as a maintenance assistant at St. Catherine's, helping with repairs during summer break. The pattern was there all along. Nobody had connected the dots, but now, 25 years later, Nathan finally sees what everyone missed. He grabs his phone, dials Connor Davidson's number again. This time, Connor answers on the second ring. "Nathan, I got your message. What's going on?" "Connor, I need you to think back to the Matthews case. You said you asked about a basement. What made you suspicious?" Connor's quiet for a moment. Nathan can hear the sound of traffic in the background. Connor must be driving. "It was the smell," Connor finally says. "When we were in that house, there was this smell, like damp earth. I thought maybe they had a moisture problem, you know? Old houses, poor ventilation. But then I saw Samantha's hands." Her hands! They were dirty. Not just a little dirty, like she'd been digging. She kept rubbing them together, trying to clean them. And when I asked her about it, she froze. Just for a second, but I noticed. Ryan jumped in, said they'd been gardening that morning. But Nathan, it was November, middle of winter. Nobody gardens in November. Nathan's pulse quickens. You thought she was hiding something. I knew she was hiding something, but I didn't push. I should have pushed. Connor's voice cracked slightly. I let them intimidate me. Ryan was so confident, so cooperative. He gave us a full tour of the house, let us look anywhere we wanted, and I fell for it. I convinced myself I was being paranoid. Connor, I need you to come back to London. Tonight, if possible. Why? What have you found? I found the recording. The original 999 call. And Connor, you were right. There was someone else in that house. Silence, then quietly. Oh, God. I'm going to Ashford Lane now. The house is abandoned. I'm going to find that basement. Nathan, wait for backup. Don't go in alone. I've waited 25 years, Connor. I'm not waiting another minute. Nathan hangs up, grabs his coat. But before he leaves, he makes one more call. To the forensics lab. This is Detective Reed, badge number 4738. I need a team standing by for a possible crime scene recovery at 47 Ashford Lane. Yes, tonight, and I need ground-penetrating radar equipment. We're looking for a concealed basement. The technician on the other end hesitates. Sir, you're retired as of midnight tonight. I'm not sure I can authorize. Then get someone who can. 2 little girls have been missing for decades, and I just found out where they are. Are you going to help me, or do I need to call the chief superintendent? 5 minutes later, the technician calls back. The team will be there within the hour. Nathan drives to Ashford Lane with his mind racing. He thinks about Samantha Matthews, dead for 15 years. Had she known? Had she been complicit, or was she another victim of Ryan's manipulation? He remembers her during the interviews, withdrawn, nervous, avoiding eye contact. At the time, he'd attributed it to stress, the trauma of losing a child. But maybe it was guilt. Maybe she knew exactly what her husband had done, and she couldn't live with it. The suicide in 2008 suddenly takes on new meaning. Not an accident, a confession. The house looms ahead, dark and silent. Nathan parks across the street, studying the property. According to the case file, Ryan and Samantha Mitchell sold the house in 2001, 3 years after Lily disappeared. They divorced shortly after, both leaving the area. But Nathan wonders now, did they leave because of guilt? Or because they were afraid someone would discover their secret? He steps out of his car, crosses the street. The house is empty, has been for months judging by the state of the garden. He tries the front door locked. Walks around to the back. The rear garden is worse than the front, waist-high grass and brambles choking what was once a small patio. And then Nathan sees something that makes his heart skip. Fresh tire tracks in the mud. Recent, within the last few days. Someone has been here. Nathan's hand instinctively moves to his belt, but his service weapon isn't there. He turned it in this morning. He curses softly, pulls out his phone to call for backup. But before he can dial, he hears it. A sound from inside the house. Movement. Someone's in there. Nathan freezes, listening. Footsteps. Slow, deliberate, coming from the ground floor. He should wait. Wait for the forensics team. Wait for backup. But if someone is destroying evidence right now, every second counts. Nathan moves to the back window, the one with the broken latch, pushes it open, climbs inside. The kitchen smells of damp and rot. Wallpaper peels from the walls in long strips. The floor is littered with debris, old newspapers, broken furniture, evidence of squatters who've come and gone. But the footsteps have stopped. Whoever was here knows he's not alone anymore. Nathan pulls out his flashlight, sweeps the beam across the room. Everything looks normal, ordinary, and then a voice from the darkness, familiar, cold. Hello, Detective Reed. I've been waiting for you. The lights flicker on, and standing in the doorway, holding a jerry can that reeks of gasoline, is Ryan Mitchell. He looks older than Nathan remembers, grayer, thinner, but his eyes are the same cold, calculating, empty. You couldn't just let it go, could you? Ryan says, setting the jerry can down slowly. 25 years. I thought I was safe. Thought everyone had forgotten. But not you. You never forgot. Nathan keeps his distance, positions himself between Ryan and the kitchen. "Ryan Mitchell, I'm placing you under arrest." "For what?" Ryan interrupts, his voice eerily calm. "You don't have any evidence. You don't have any proof. Just an old recording and a guilty conscience. I have enough to get a warrant. Enough to bring in ground-penetrating radar. We'll find them, Ryan. We'll find what you buried here." Ryan's expression doesn't change. "You're too late, detective. I came back to finish what I started, to make sure you'd never find them." He gestures to the jerry can. "One match, that's all it takes. Burn it all down. Evidence, memories, everything." Nathan's mind races. Ryan's planning to destroy the house, destroy the bodies, destroy any chance of justice. "Why?" Nathan asks, trying to keep Ryan talking, trying to buy time. "Why did you take them?" Claire, Megan, Paige, Lily, they were children, innocent children. Ryan's face twists into something between a smile and a grimace. "You want to understand? You think if you understand, it'll make sense? It won't, detective. There's no grand explanation. No tragic backstory. Some people are just broken, and I've been broken for a very long time." Samantha knew, didn't she? That's why she killed herself. At the mention of his ex-wife's name, something shifts in Ryan's expression. Pain. Real, genuine pain. Samantha was weak. She couldn't handle the truth. Couldn't handle what we'd done. "What you'd done," Nathan corrects. "She was a victim too." "Was she?" Ryan's voice hardens. "She watched me build that basement. Watched me bring Claire home. Watched me keep her down there for 3 years. And she never said a word. Never tried to stop me. Not until Lily found out. Not until it all started to unravel." Nathan's stomach turns. "You kept Claire alive for 3 years?" "I wanted to save her. Wanted to give her a better life than she had. But she got sick. Pneumonia, I think. I couldn't take her to a hospital. So I did what I had to do." The casual way Ryan describes murdering a child makes Nathan's blood run cold. But then Nathan hears something that changes everything. Sirens. Distant but getting closer. The forensics team. Connor must have called them, told them to hurry. Ryan hears them too. His expression shifts, desperation replacing the cold calm. "You called them? You brought them here." He reaches for the jerry can. Nathan moves fast. 30 years of training taking over. He rushes forward, tackles Ryan before he can grab the container. They crash to the floor, struggling. Ryan is stronger than he looks, fueled by desperation and decades of rage. But Nathan has something Ryan doesn't. The weight of 25 years of guilt driving every punch. They grapple in the filthy kitchen, knocking over debris, smashing through rotten furniture. Nathan feels Ryan's fist connect with his jaw, sees stars, but he doesn't let go. Can't let go. Not when he's this close. Not when Lily and Claire and all the others finally have a chance at justice. And then the door bursts open. Police officers flood in, flashlights blazing. "Armed police, show me your hands!" Ryan freezes beneath Nathan. For a moment, their eyes meet, and Nathan sees something he didn't expect. Relief, as if Ryan has been waiting for this moment for 25 years. The officers pull them apart, cuff Ryan, read him his rights. Nathan staggers to his feet, breathing hard, his jaw already swelling. Connor Davidson appears in the doorway, his face pale. "Nathan, Jesus Christ, are you all right?" Nathan nods, unable to speak. Can't trust his voice right now. Connor steps closer, lowers his voice. "The forensics team is outside. They brought the radar equipment. We're going to find them. We're going to bring them home." And that's when Nathan finally lets himself believe it. After 25 years of guilt, of nightmares, of carrying the weight of his failure, they're going to find Lily Matthews. They're going to find Claire Watkins, and they're going to bring them home. The forensics team works through the night. Nathan stays, watching from the street as they scan the house with ground-penetrating radar. It doesn't take long. 15 minutes in, the lead technician calls out. "We've got something. Ground floor kitchen area. Definite void space approximately 8 feet below the surface." They bring in excavation equipment, remove the flooring, and there it is, the trapdoor Nathan suspected, covered by layers of linoleum and a heavy cabinet. The padlock is rusted but intact. They cut it off, pull the door open. The smell hits them immediately. Nathan doesn't go down. doesn't need to. He's seen enough crime scenes to know what they found. But Connor descends the stairs with the forensics team, his flashlight illuminating the darkness below. When he emerges 10 minutes later, his face is ashen. Two bodies, children, skeletal remains, and Nathan. Connor's voice breaks. There's writing on the wall, scratched into the wood. Names: Claire Watkins, Megan Phillips, Paige Lawson. And at the bottom, Lily Matthews. Nathan closes his eyes. 4 little girls, not 2, 4. Ryan Mitchell had been killing for 7 years before anyone connected the cases. And Lily had found them all. That's why she called 999. That's why she whispered that message into the phone, knowing her father would take it away. She was trying to save them, trying to make sure someone knew they were there, even though it was too late for Claire and Megan and Paige. Even though she knew it might be too late for her too. She tried anyway, because that's what brave little girls do. They try to save people, even when the odds are impossible, even when the case is everything. The trial takes place 6 months later. The evidence is overwhelming. 4 bodies recovered from the basement. Ryan Mitchell's DNA on clothing fragments. Testimony from neighbors who remember seeing him with tools and building materials in 1991, claiming he was building a storm shelter. Forensic analysis of the 999 recording, confirming the whispered message. And Ryan's own confession, recorded on Nathan's phone during their confrontation. The prosecution brings forward a forensic psychologist who explains Ryan's pathology: antisocial personality disorder, narcissistic traits, complete lack of empathy. He'd been grooming victims for years, selecting vulnerable children, learning their routines, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Samantha Matthews is painted as both victim and accomplice. Evidence suggests she knew about Claire, but was too terrified of Ryan to report it. By the time Lily discovered the truth, Samantha was trapped. Either help Ryan cover it up or risk becoming his next victim. Her suicide in 2008 left a note that police had dismissed as a depression-related rambling. But now, read in context, it's clearly a confession. I couldn't save them. I tried to forget, but they're always there, always waiting in the dark. I'm so sorry. The jury deliberates for less than 3 hours. Guilty on 4 counts of first-degree murder, 4 counts of kidnapping, multiple counts of child endangerment. Ryan Mitchell is sentenced to 4 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. As they lead him away, he looks back at Nathan one final time, and he speaks, his voice barely audible. Thank you. Nathan doesn't respond, doesn't acknowledge him, because he understands now. Ryan Mitchell wanted to be caught, wanted someone to finally see through his carefully constructed facade, wanted someone to care enough to keep looking. And after 25 years, Nathan finally gave him what he wanted: justice. The families of the 4 girls attend the sentencing. Claire Watkins' parents, now in their 70s, weep quietly in the gallery. Megan Phillips' mother collapses, has to be carried out by paramedics. Paige Lawson's father stands silently, staring at Ryan Mitchell with an expression of such profound hatred that Nathan fears he might try something. And Lily Matthews' biological parents, who gave her up for adoption as an infant, sit together holding hands, tears streaming down their faces for a daughter they barely knew. The funerals are held over the course of 2 weeks. Claire is buried first, in a small ceremony attended by dozens of people who never forgot her. Her mother places a blue dress, identical to the one Claire was wearing when she disappeared, into the coffin. She loved this dress, the mother whispers. She wore it every chance she got. Megan is buried next to her grandfather, in a cemetery overlooking rolling hills. Her mother reads a poem Megan wrote in kindergarten about butterflies and sunshine and forever. Paige is cremated, her ashes scattered in the ocean per her father's wishes. She loved the water, he explains, used to say she wanted to be a mermaid when she grew up. And Lily is buried last, in a ceremony that brings together dozens of people whose lives she touched in her brief 7 years. Her teacher speaks about Lily's kindness, how she always stood up for children who were being bullied. Her best friend reads a letter she wrote to Lily years ago, never sent. I know you're in heaven now, the letter says. I know you're not scared anymore, but I miss you every single day. Nathan attends all 4 funerals, stands at the back saying nothing, just bearing witness, making sure these little girls know that someone cared, someone remembered, someone never gave up. Nathan Reed officially retires that winter, but the case stays with him. He sells his apartment, moves to the coast, buys a small cottage overlooking the sea. He spends his days walking on the beach, reading, volunteering at a local youth center. But he keeps 4 photographs on his mantle, school pictures of Claire, Megan, Paige, and Lily. 4 little girls who deserve so much more. Sometimes late at night, Nathan listens to the waves and thinks about that 999 call, about the whisper he almost missed, about the lives that could have been saved if he'd listened more carefully 25 years ago. But he also thinks about the closure he finally brought to 4 families, about the justice that, however late, was finally served. And he tells himself that maybe, just maybe, that's enough. On the 20th anniversary of the trial, a journalist contacts Nathan for an interview. She's writing a book about cold cases, about detectives who never gave up. Nathan agrees mostly because he wants people to remember, not just the tragedy, but the bravery. Lily Matthews, 7 years old, knowing her father was a monster, still finding the courage to call for help, still whispering that message into the phone, even knowing what it might cost her. The journalist's final question stays with Nathan long after the interview ends. Do you think you could have saved them? If you'd acted differently that day in 1998? Nathan is silent for a long time. The question has haunted him for 25 years, but he finally has an answer. I think about that every day, he says quietly. And the truth is, I failed them. I should have listened harder, should have trusted my instincts, should have pushed Ryan Mitchell instead of accepting his lies. But I can't change the past. All I can do is make sure their story is told. Make sure people understand that behind every cold case, there are real lives, real families, real children who deserve better than the world gave them. He pauses, looking out at the ocean. And I want people to know this. If you ever feel like something's wrong, if your instincts are screaming at you that someone needs help, listen. Really listen, because sometimes the truth is whispering so quietly you can barely hear it. And if you're not paying attention, it'll be gone forever. The book is published a year later. The Silent 999 Call, the cold case that haunted a detective for 25 years. It becomes a bestseller, raising awareness about missing children and the importance of trusting law enforcement instincts. But Nathan doesn't keep any of the money from the book royalties. He donates it all to organizations that help find missing children, that support families dealing with the unthinkable loss of a child. Because that's what Lily would have wanted. That's what all 4 girls would have wanted. Not fame, not recognition, just the simple knowledge that their deaths meant something, that their story would help other children, that they would be remembered not as victims, but as the brave souls they truly were. Every year on November 14th, the anniversary of Lily's 999 call, Nathan drives back to Ashford Lane. The house is long gone, demolished years after the trial. In its place, a small memorial garden with a plaque that reads, "In memory of Claire Watkins, Megan Phillips, Paige Lawson, and Lily Matthews." 4 lights extinguished too soon. 4 voices finally heard, never forgotten. Nathan stands there, hands in his pockets, and speaks to them as if they can hear. I'm sorry I didn't save you in time. I'm sorry it took so long. But I want you to know your bravery mattered. Lily, you tried to save them. Even knowing what it would cost you, you tried. And because of you, the truth finally came out. Because of you, other children are safe. Because of you, a monster is behind bars where he belongs. The wind rustles through the trees. The sun breaks through the clouds. And Nathan Reed, retired detective, man who carried 25 years of guilt, allows himself to believe that maybe, just maybe, they've finally forgiven him. Because in the end, that's all any of us can hope for. To be remembered, to be mourned, and to know that someone cared enough to never give up, no matter how long it took. The case files sit in a box in Nathan's closet. He doesn't look at them often. But on difficult days when the guilt threatens to overwhelm him, he pulls out one final piece of evidence. A letter found in Lily Matthews' school desk after her disappearance, dated November 13th, 1998, one day before she made that 999 call. Written in a child's careful handwriting, it says, "There are girls in our basement. Their names are Claire and Megan and Paige. They are not alive anymore. My dad says I can't tell anyone. He says if I tell, something bad will happen. But I think that is wrong. I think someone should know. I think they deserve to go home. Tomorrow I am going to call the police. I am scared, but my teacher says brave people do the right thing even when they are scared. So tomorrow I will be brave. Lily Matthews knew exactly what she was doing when she called 999. She wasn't playing, she wasn't confused, she was being brave. She was doing the right thing, even though she was terrified. Even though it cost her everything. And 25 years later, her bravery finally mattered. The truth came out. Justice was served. 4 little girls went home at last. Nathan keeps that letter framed above his desk. A reminder that courage doesn't mean not being afraid. It means doing the right thing anyway. It means being 7 years old, knowing your father is a monster, and still picking up that phone, still whispering that message, still trying to save people you've never met. That's the real story of the silent 999 call. Not a story about failure, not a story about a detective's guilt, but a story about a little girl's extraordinary bravery, about a child who saw evil and refused to look away, about a 7-year-old who became a hero, even though nobody knew it for 25 years. Now they know. Now everyone knows. And as Nathan walks on the beach, watching the sun set over the ocean, he allows himself to smile. Because Lily Matthews is finally home. Claire and Megan and Paige are finally home. And somewhere, somehow, he believes they're at peace, the case is closed. But their memory lives on, in the garden, in the stories, in the hearts of those who never stop searching, and in that whisper on the recording, forever preserved as evidence of a little girl's courage. Please, Lily is in the basement. A call for help that, 25 years too late, was finally answered. If you found Lily's story as powerful as we did, please subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss another case. These stories need to be told. These voices need to be heard. And we want to ask you something important. Have you ever had a moment where your instincts told you something was wrong, but you didn't act on it? Maybe you saw something suspicious in your neighborhood, or felt uneasy about a situation but convinced yourself it was nothing. Looking back now, do you wish you'd trusted your gut? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience might help someone else recognize the warning signs. Sometimes, listening to that quiet voice inside can save a life. Remember, if you ever suspect a child is in danger, don't hesitate. Call the authorities. You might be the only one who can help.